Hi guys, and welcome to our conservation garden. My name is Ben. I'm one of the keepers here at Knockhatch, and this is an area of the sort of park and zoo that does often get overlooked because there's so many other exciting things to be getting on with. But definitely make a point of coming and visiting the conservation garden. First of all, as you sort of move around it, you'll see we've got a few different things to try and teach you about various ways to make your garden more wildlife friendly, and also about some of your native wildlife. So the first thing we've got is our bat barn. So this is meant to look like an old dilapidated shed. The roof is hollow, we've got little slats here, and the bats can go up and roost in there if they choose to. We've also got a mixture of machinery, some sort of bits of undergrowth that have grown up, old bits of log and things, and all of that makes a brilliant habitat for things like voles and shrews. And we have a beautiful family of little voles living in here. And actually, if you go back on some of our live streams, we actually posted some camera trap footage of what goes on in here. We got lots of different animals, particularly voles. We even had a barn owl, a wild barn owl, appearing in there as well. So it just shows that even your old garden shed is a hive of activity, and can be really helpful for a lot of native animals, particularly in winter. Moving along, we also have the start of our wildflower meadow that became slightly overgrown, which is kind of the point. What we do have in here is a compost heap, which if you come in winter, you're going to be able to see, but we're filming this in summer, and it is currently been taken over by the foliage. Now, often this stuff will get called weeds. It's not weeds. Weeds are only what you don't want, and we do want all of this stuff, because even though it's things like thistle that most people don't particularly like, thistle is a great pollinator-friendly plant, which is why we've allowed it to grow. But yeah, there is a compost heap in there, and then we do have our bonfire. Now, as you can see, our bonfire is again quite overgrown. That is again the point. But we've got a sort of tree growing out of it. We've got a nice sort of, I don't know if you can see on the video, but a real network of sort of branches and things in there, and then that provides a brilliant home for loads of native animals, whether that be birds, mice, voles, even hedgehogs. Hedgehogs love bonfires, and one of the reasons we've got our bonfire in here is to just raise awareness about checking your bonfire before you burn it. We're in summer. Lots of people like to burn their bonfires in summer. It is crucially important to check your bonfire for hedgehogs, because a bonfire is a perfect home for a hedgehog until it gets set on fire. So please make sure you check your bonfires before setting them on fire, and maybe think about leaving them. They're a brilliant source of shelter and food for a lot of our native wildlife. Moving along, you will notice we also got some mats in here. These are reptile mats. We're currently doing a survey at the moment, looking at getting an idea of the population of different reptiles around the Knockhatch site. That's lizards, snakes, slow worms, all of that, which is really cool. And then this is our wildflower garden, or what started off as our wildflower garden. We've got a mixture of different flowers in here. We've got an awful lot of thistle. Again, not a very popular plant, but is really good for pollinators. We kind of just let this grow. We do trim it every now and then, just to let the plants in the sort of undergrowth shoot up. You can see we've got some cornflower growing in here. We've got some lavender. We've got a nice sort of we've got Fowler's nose. So we've got a real nice mixture of wildflowers, and we've also got lots of buddleia. We then move on to the wildlife pond. This is our wildlife pond. A wildlife pond really is a must-have if you're wanting to make your garden more wildlife friendly. Loads and loads of our native insects rely on bodies of water for their reproductive cycle, for feeding, and all of those things. So it's really important that you try and have some form of wildlife pond in your garden. You don't need a lot of space for a wildlife pond. This is a pretty big one. I've got a ground floor flat, and I just have like a washing up tub that's been lined and just a few wild plants in it. That's enough. That there will be brilliant for many insects, and even if you're lucky, some frogs. In our wildlife pond, again, we've let it really just sort of grow, but we've got newts. We have still got newts at the moment. We've had frogs, toads, an abundance of insects, and then you get loads of animals coming over and drinking and feeding from it. This is a hive of activity at night with bats. We come out here with a bat detector, and just all over the top, because all the midges and mosquitoes and other flying insects come off of the pond, you get all the bats coming over here feeding. So really good thing to have in your garden is a wildlife pond. There's loads of information about how to do it on the internet and also on our Facebook page. This is a really cool thing. We've got a little bee there. Don't know if you'll be able to pick that up in the video. This is our solitary beehive. So essentially what this is just a big bundle of logs all put on top of each other with a little bit of straw and things in there as well. And what it's there is to allow different bees to nest. We get lots of solitary bees and mining bees and things. What's quite interesting is we kind of expected everything to live in this sort of pile of logs in the middle, but what in fact a lot of the mining bees are doing is just going straight into the bark that actually holds the whole thing together. It's full of little holes, and then often what you'll get is a woodpecker coming along and feeding from the sides. And as you can see with the thistle, we've got loads of little bees feeding on it, even on a bit of a drab day like today. And finally we have our rockery, which, as you can see, common theme is quite overgrown. We have a mixture of plants in here. If you sort of take a closer look, you can see we've got some sort of rockery plants. We've got things like heather, again, can be really good for your animals. We've also got buddleia. I love buddleia. Buddleia grows really well. Lots of animals like it, lots of pollinators like it. Lemurs like it as well, so it's a brilliant, and parrots, brilliant bit of browse for our animals as well, so we can cut it down and put it in there. And then we've got things like bristly oxtongue and a real variety of different native plants. But yes, and then finally we have our hedgerows, which are kind of further back there. Hedgerows are fundamental to our British ecosystem. Loads of animals depend on hedgerows to survive, and they can provide valuable food, water, shelter for a real variety of different animals. So maintaining your hedgerows, letting them grow, letting them be nice and dense, can be really helpful and really important. But that's it. That is our conservation garden. That's really just scratching the surface. Do keep an eye on our Facebook page for updates on what we've seen in here, what we're doing in here, and also have a look on our website. We have a conservation part to our website with our conservation projects on it. So you can head over to our website, have a look at the conservation bit, and you'll be able to see, we've got our bat project in there at the moment. You'll be able to see what the population of bats is like around Knockhatch. Thanks very much, guys. Look forward to seeing you around the park later on.